Hey you, I'm the Queen of Shade. Welcome to the interview. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit my Cash App to support your favorite content creator. Now let's get to the interview. Mwah.
Let me tell you something. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too.
Salutations, you foes. This is your fabulous leader, the Queen of Shade, coming at you with a very special presentation. I'm moving full speed ahead, talking to amazing people, people that have impacted my life, people that have changed my life, people that have interested me in times past. And just to hear their stories is so refreshing and rewarding. Having said this, I have someone that you need to meet. This woman is someone very near and dear to me, and I'm going to explain that in a bit. But let me first start off by saying she's a singer, a songwriter, a vocal coach, so you know where I'm going, creator of the Awakened Artist that are the Awakened Artists, which are courses. It's coaching and community, helping creatives express their souls and live the life that they love. So you know why I brought her here. So without further ado, I would like to introduce all of you to Mrs. Deb Chamberlin. With you, I kind of got a little choked up because
I'm choked up.
Okay, because I'm getting ready to explain how we know each other. But I just want to first say it's an honor to have you here.
Oh,
I am so honored to have you here because we'll get to it, but you've seen the evolution. You were there at the inception. So here's a little backstory. In 2007, my happy tale answered an ad on MySpace. The ad was for female singers, and they were looking for voices to kind of do like us, background vocals and things like that. I answered the ad because I knew I had a very unique voice. And what happened was I was connected to a man, and his name was Michael Taylor. What I did not know, fast forwarding, was that Michael Taylor was an A&R with a very reputable record label. I'm not telling you who, mind your business. But what happens was Michael liked my sound. I remember being in New York with him in his home and recording and doing backgrounds and singing, and he was getting a feel for my voice. Then he decided, we like your voice, but you could really use some stage presence and technique with how to carry a song, how to emote, how to basically deliver. He wanted me to see a vocal coach in New York, but I lived in Philadelphia and could not, because of my job, travel back and forth. So he said, okay, no problem. He sent me to Deb Chamberlin. And needless to say, did I get the confidence? Did I get the training needed? Because get this, I didn't finish all my vocal lessons. Let's say that right now. But I got the confidence and more, and also gained another mother. So since 2007, this wonderful woman that we are looking at has been in my life. And what you have to understand about the old Bjorn, he was very insecure. He cared what people thought about him. He cared about the opinions of others. And that was the first thing Mama Deb attacked. I remember, people say it now, it's kind of become a trending thing. But back in 2007, I remember this beautiful woman standing in her studio, and I'm there going through a conniption, basically. And she looked at me and she said, "What people think of you is none of your business. Why are you minding their business?" And I was like, I never forgot that. So, okay, Mama Deb, this is how we know each other. How are you? Because that was 2007. It is now 2022.
Oh my God. That's lifetimes ago.
I know. Isn't it really? It is
Yeah.
so. But I must say, I've never wanted any other vocal coach. I never, no, because I found what I needed, that confidence, that drive, that passion. Now, mind you guys, mental illness was in the throes then too. I wasn't medicated or seeing a doctor or therapist, but I needed you at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I did. And this brilliant woman, just, you know, I listed a number of things that she did, but I want to start off by talking about your philanthropic, charitable work, because you back then were working with a group called the Cow Project. And why I'm bringing this up is because the thread of this conversation is going to be that you guys always ask me, where do you get your confidence? I have goosebumps right now. Where do you get your confidence? Where did you learn to be you? This woman was a very, very huge part of me learning to embrace me. I remember just one more memory before we give it to her about the Cow Project. But I remember saying, you know, when I started my career, and I'm like, oh, well, such and such is going to do my fashion, and this is that and other. And she looked at me again. She said, weren't you a model? Didn't you go to Paris? I said, yes, ma'am, I did. She said, so why do you need somebody else to do your fashion? You can do it yourself. And I ended up doing that. And I've done a really good job because all of you stayed fascinated by what I put together. So here we are giving her her flowers, but also we want to learn about her. This is a learning lesson because a lot of you are not going to ever get access to this type of person. So I just want to preface this and say, listen closely and listen well, because the things that you're about to hear are going to change your life the way they changed mine. Okay. Mama Deb, Cow Project, you know, how'd you get involved? What made you want to give and give back and help? Tell us what it was.
Okay, first of all, people can have access to me for free through the Awakened Artist Facebook community.
Okay.
So just go to Facebook, the Awakened Artist community.
Yes.
Anyone can join and ask to join. Okay, second of all, can I talk about confidence for a second?
Yes, please.
So you might be shocked to know, and I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but but I'm not somebody who has natural confidence. I still don't. And people who think they need confidence first before they can do XYZ have it backwards. The confidence comes after you've done it enough times you can do it in your sleep. And so it actually takes persistence, focus, self-discipline, which is just making the choices you got to make on a daily, consistent basis. And following through, and then you build the confidence because you go, oh, I can do that now. So that's what confidence is about. And when you don't have the confidence, you just need to focus on the thing that you're trying to create in the moment.
So powerful.
Yeah.
That's what got me here. That's what got me here.
Yeah.
Because
totally.
I said in 2 interviews ago, I told them I was still very insecure about this. I'm like, I'm doing this because it fulfills a need in me.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm still insecure about it, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
You may always be insecure. I'm insecure about this. So. But who cares?
Right.
Who cares?
Right.
You know, who cares? I don't care. So, Cow Project, COW, for changing our world. I had the amazing good fortune to have a sister who had a very wealthy boyfriend at the time who decided to take her, my other sister, me, and 3 other people on an all-expense paid trip to Israel. because he was Israeli and he wanted us to see his homeland. Okay, great, I'll go. My daughter was 3. My parents flew up from Texas and stayed to take care of her while I was gone. I was just there 6 or 7 days, but it was an epiphany for me. I felt for the first time, this was in 1999, so this was the first time I ever really used the word soul, S-O-U-L,
Mm.
in relationship to myself. And when I came home, it was very quiet when I was there, just soaking it all in. I only slept like 2-3 hours a night. I couldn't sleep. And when I came home, people said, "What was it like?" And I said, all I can say, it was like being in the presence of my own soul for
Mm.
7 days, 6, 7 days.
Mm.
I never even knew what that meant before, but I had found a connection with my soul, that non-physical me, that's eternal. So then I became obsessed with Israel. I'm not Jewish. I'm not affiliated with any particular religion.
Right.
And I would wait for my husband to go to bed, put my daughter to bed, and then I'd go on the internet at 11 o'clock at night and just read the Israeli newspapers, just like everything. I read books and took classes. It was kind of nuts. And I started playing a sweepstakes on Continental Airlines. Basically, enter your email. They did drawings every week, and I won a free round trip ticket to Israel 3 months after I started playing the daily sweepstakes. Then my sister won a ticket, and so she gave it to Robert, my husband, and then we went back with a friend the following year. So twice I was called to Israel,
Wow.
twice.
Mm-hmm.
So the second time we were there in 2000, the Intifada started, the second Intifada, which was the Arab uprising.
Yeah.
And we were there when it started. And so when I came home, I was very upset because I was just there. I had made a Palestinian friend in Jerusalem. And of course, I had a couple of Jewish friends there. And I just didn't understand. I just didn't understand why people are so violent toward each other. Of course, I understand, but
Yeah.
my compassionate self is like, why? Why do we still have this in the world? So, long story short, I was in the middle of writing and recording my first CD. Robert, my husband, was producing, co-writing with me, and I started writing some songs about that whole experience. And then I had a new voice student, and she was a teacher at a high school in Washington Township, New Jersey. And she was a special ed teacher, and 3,000 mostly white, mostly middle to middle upper class kids, privileged kids, in the school, 3,000 kids. And we were talking all summer and how much we feel sad for the new generation having to deal with this world, right? Yeah. So we decided to do a project. So in the fall, we got a bunch of kids together, just advertised it, and like 30 or 40 kids showed up, teenagers. We went around the room and they each had a chance to share what concerns you in your life. Just share what concerns you. For most of them, it was, struggling with relationships, family issues, but bullying, stereotyping, disrespect. Now, this was in 2003, the fall of 2003. So it's like 2 years after 9/11. We're starting to talk about terror and terrorists and, and we had a really mixed group come because of my partner who ran it with me. So we had teenagers from poorer economic families, richer economic families, academic, like advanced placement, special ed. Yeah. Every religion. We had a Sikh, S-I-K-H. We had Muslim, Jewish, of course, Christian, nothing, Indian. We just had everybody, every race. And by the last year, I ran this project for 9 years so what we did was we had them write whatever they wanted to write, a skit, a spoken word, dance, music, songs, whatever, and we put it together as a multimedia performance addressing the issues that concern them. And each year they kept asking us to do it again and do it again. So we became a 501c3 nonprofit, which was not the fun part. And and we performed all over the state of New Jersey over the period of 9 years. The kids would rotate through. We'd recirculate some of the skits and we'd come up with new ones. And it was just this beautiful group of young people that would never have been friends had it not been for this group. And we would perform for the I can't think of what they call it, but through the Attorney General's office for the bias crime, and we performed for their conventions every year, and people were blown away by what we did. And we also did interactive stuff with the audience, where we would get them involved with, like, stand up if you've ever been harassed, if you've ever had a parent who was an alcoholic or a drug addict, or and then the kids on stage would participate just to show you you're not alone, right? So can I tell you about our last show ever?
Yes, please do.
It was unbelievable. So it was in a school in South Jersey, which I shall not name. It was a middle school.
Yeah.
And again, you know, an elitist kind of community with some minority students that were getting harassed by staff, like the cafeteria workers, as well as the students.
Yeah.
Really ugly, really bad. The principal had seen us perform at the Human Relations Commission for the state. That's what I was trying to think of, conference. And she asked us to come. And so our kids on the bus there were scared. They were like, are they gonna like attack us? And these are high school kids worried about middle school kids.
Middle school.
Middle school kids, I gotta say, yeah. Yeah. So we I assured them, you're gonna be okay. Don't worry, you know. We got your back. So we get there, we do our show. By the end of the show, the last number was, we are the world, we are the children. Half the audience, there was probably about 400 kids in the audience, was up on stage with us, arms around each other, arms around us, singing We Are the World. At the end of the show, and they were like, they wouldn't get off the stage. Like, they were just like clapping, yelling, screaming, like, oh my God, because they got it. They got it. So by the end of the show, we all sat across the front of the stage to do a Q&A with the audience. So a couple of people came up to the microphone. And then third or fourth student was a girl who was kind of tough. Yeah. You know, she comes to the microphone and she calls another student up. I think it was a boy. And she said in front of the whole student body, but it was half the student body, I want to apologize to you. I've been harassing you all year, bullying you, humiliating you. I had no clue how it was affecting you. Didn't even enter my mind. I was just thinking about myself. Will you accept my apology? Oh. So by now, all of us are like bawling. Yeah. And the audience was just like, oh my God. And so they did. They hugged. Next thing you know, there's a line of kids doing the same thing. Yep. Wow. It was unbelievable. And I'll still run into some of the kids now who, you know, I stopped doing it in 2012, so that was 10 years ago. Yeah. So, you know, and I started doing it in 2000. Some of these kids are in their 30s now, and I'll run into them places, or I still see them on social media, and Miss Deb, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have, you know, gotten through high school. So, and my partner, I have to say. So it just did incredible things. And it gave, what the focus was giving young people a voice, a safe place to express themselves about the things that they're really dealing with, that they have really nobody to talk to, and to start to see each other, no matter what you look like out here. Yes. Or what house you live in, what neighborhood you live in, that they're the same. We would do these exercises together that we stole this exercise from a program called Challenge Day that they take into the schools. And we'd go in, we would get in a big group and we'd say, if you really knew me, you would know. And I do not recommend you just jump into this with anyone. You have to really build trust first. Yeah. So if you really knew me, you would know that. And then they would just spontaneously share. And for an hour, and no getting up and hugging, no like comments or feedback, just sharing a sacred space to just speak and be heard. Oh my goodness, the stuff that these young people were holding in, you know, yeah, from your own experiences, and the holding in, and things you would never know, because from the outside, you know, yeah, and unbelievable stuff. And I just felt so honored to be able to be a part of their lives. I mean, they didn't know me from Adam. I didn't teach there. I was volunteering the whole time, right? Raising my own daughter. And it just made it. And then I found a group in Israel called Peace Child Israel, who used theater to bring Arab Israeli and Jewish Israeli teens together, I emailed the director, who happened to be from Philly, from
Yeah.
Cheltenham,
Wow.
and I said, "Hey, can we be pen pals?" And she said, "Well, they don't even really speak English, let alone write, so no. But how about you bring a delegation over for a U.S. tour?" I was like, "Okay."
Right.
Oh my God, I was doing my cow project at the same time. 18 months later, we had this group of 19 teenagers, Arab and Jewish teenagers from Israel, come over, and I had 6 teen groups host them. Ours, one from North Philly, like an African American group from North Philly, a Mennonite school in
God.
up near Lancaster area, and then a couple of groups in the South Jersey, Philadelphia area that were like a Muslim and Jewish group that formed to, and it was about cultural identity, learning each other's cultural identity. And that's what this group would do in Israel. They'd learn about each other, because it was kind of like the Deep South in the 50s and 60s,
Right.
how it is in Israel. Like they don't talk. There's a Jewish town in school and a Arab town in school.
Right.
So they became friends, and so we brought them over, and by the first or second day, they were all great friends with our kids, and they had this amazing 10-day tour. We traveled all over from DC up to New York. They did their performance of their play that they wrote, which was in Hebrew, Arabic, and English. We wrote a peace anthem. We had a big grand finale at the National Constitution Center for 500 people.
Wow.
It was just like showing, look, we want peace. Kids want peace.
Yeah.
We adults are screwing this up.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I'm overwhelmed with such the power of transformation. Let's
Yeah.
start.
And an idea.
Yeah, that to me, because you're still doing this work today.
I am.
They have ended with one,
Yeah.
but they're okay. So get this. I'm working. I'm living with my brother. 2007. You know, we've got our things. We're coming from a traumatic background. First time on ourselves, me having been homeless. Now I'm living with my brother. This is our first, apartment. And you would think I need all my dollars. But I know a woman who suggested that I do something called the
Oh yeah.
Landmark Forum. So even to this day, don't know how I got the fee together, but I got the fee together.
Yeah.
Because I also learned from you that when you put intent to an idea, the universe will conspire to help you.
Yeah.
Like I learned that the universe will conspire and you will be like, how did I get this? But you focus, like you said in the beginning, you focused on it and you just moved toward that goal.
Right.
So how a paycheck, I can't quite remember, but I'm in the Landmark Forum. And that changed my life.
Yeah. It's
And
a powerful course, very powerful.
it was you, because you were saying to me, because I'm gonna tell the real truth here, because you know me. So back then I had this inferiority complex. I had this thing that I felt like I wasn't worthy to be around certain people and certain ideas and upwardly mobile people. I felt, because of my own trauma, that I had been left behind. And you never accepted that from me. You vehemently rejected that.
Well, I didn't see you as that.
Yeah. But get this, that helped me.
Yeah.
Because would you believe that here we are, Landmark 2007. There was someone in my class called Janet Powell, and she owns Powell Mortuary homes all over. Forbes has covered her, et cetera, et cetera. We are great friends today.
Wow.
She has had me on her radio show.
How about that?
She had me talking about what it was like to be gay in America. I got opportunities because I was positioned.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing was, I would have never known about that. I would have never known that that existed.
Maybe, but the time was right for you to know then.
That you see, but see, even as you do it, you're like, oh, you might have, you did, you would have come to it because
Yeah.
you also believe that. Tell people what you believe.
Oh gosh.
Yes, I'm ready for this. I want to hear this.
Oh, I mean, I guess I just believe that everybody is free to choose their own values, and we don't really know our values until we test them out. Sometimes we don't know them until they've had some competition within ourselves, and we have to choose which one is the priority. And the values and aspirations that we come to of our own, not the ones ingrained in us from our upbringing, but from our own, are the ones that are really going to drive us the furthest in life. And if we just, like, you don't have to force yourself to do the things that you love,
Yeah.
right? And so if you're doing something that you have to force yourself to do, you're probably doing it because you think by doing that, you'll solve some other issue or problem in your life, some insecurity or some fear or doubt about yourself or the world. And I would encourage people to look at what you really want. But I really believe that we all have the power to create in us. Nobody's got the secret and nobody's cut off from the secret, but you have to want to learn. And I'll tell you the hardest thing, why people don't get this is because they're not willing to say yes to the unknown or to say yes to change, because for them, change triggers trauma or something unsafe. And if you think about the unknown, think about when you were a child and you thought there were monsters under the bed every time they turned the light off at night. And so that's the unknown. No matter how many times they told you, no, there's no monsters under the bed. But the unknown to us, even as adults, feels like monsters under the bed. And honestly, if you really want to create something in your life or be a certain way or change something about yourself, it's not going to come from your past. It's not going to come from anything you already know, because that's already done. That's already created from your past. It has to come from the unknown of the future. And you invent it in your imagination for no reason other than it's what you aspire to, it's what you value. And then you invent this possibility and you focus on that. And that's what you work toward. It has nothing to do with, it might not even be possible in your lifetime, but if it's what you want, then you will get up in the morning and do it most days. And nobody's going to have to bribe you or force you. And even on the hardest of the days, weeks, months, years, you will somehow pull through. I've had years, as you have, of why am I here? What's this about? So that's what I believe. And I really believe that everyone, I wish everyone could really come into a conscious knowing of their own soul essence, who they are as a soul. Because we think we're this other thing that our conditioned mind has created as our self-identity. We're not our identity.
Right.
And, you're not that, I'm not this. Right. And we're more than that. Right. And you can't even put words to it. So I really believe that that's the most important thing that people could do. And I liken it to a tuning fork, and your soul is that tuning fork. And then you want to tune your whole life to that tuning fork. So your life, your body, your mind, your consciousness becomes a vessel to express your soul.
Yes.
That's what it's all about.
No, because you're like, okay, you're speaking this beautiful spiritual language, because you remember me when I started. I wanted to be famous. I had things to prove. I've got to show them because I've never accomplished anything in my life. I've got to be successful. I've got to be that. And now I turn 40 in September. And I am turning down things that want to lead me to Hollywood and fame and notoriety, those things.
And why is this? Tell us why.
Because you're going to make me cry. No, I got tissue here. But Mama Deb, I found myself. I found myself.
What did you think fame was going to give you?
I thought it would give me, I thought it would fill the holes in my soul
Yeah.
that trauma had caused.
Right.
I thought that it with fame, I could pour it into every hole and that it would somehow congeal and seal my being so that I would be okay. And I realized, no, not at all. I had a celebrity psychic and tarot card reader. His name is Boots Durango. I want to say his name because he is just really good at what he does. 3 years ago, he asked me to come on, and I came on, and he gave me a reading. And I hadn't said this to people because I was getting offers and everybody was upset with me. Why won't you move? Why won't you do this? You're a fool. You're not acting out. You're being given opportunity and you're squandering it. This is a once in a lifetime thing and you're saying no. And he said to me, you've grown and now fame is not something you want. Fame actually scares you. And I said to him, it's not that it scares me. I just don't like the versions of ourselves that fame presents. I didn't.
And what the world does with fame.
Yes, yeah, okay. And he's
so annoying.
He said that. He said, Mama Deb, I am not for the circus. And it was you that taught me.
I am.
But yeah, we'll get to that, right? Yes, she was in the circus. Tell them what you did right there. We can segue right there. Tell them what you did. Because my thing is, you had to be really brave to do that job. And you were up there. Tell them what you did.
I don't know if it's brave. I was desperate.
Okay, we'll take
it. I'm just going to be transparent. I had a total meltdown in college. I was a music theater major.
Right.
Junior year of college.
Right.
My mother, who's 94, God bless her, still.
Yes.
I think she's still a little ticked off that I did this, but whatever. My sister was a professional dancer. She had been on scholarship at the SAB School of American Ballet, which is a New York City ballet's feeder school, for 3 years when she was a teenager. Right. She did ballet, then she ran off and joined the circus, Ringling Brothers.
Right.
So after my little meltdown, major nervous breakdown in college, I was like looking for a way to leave college without my head between my tail, or whatever that phrase is. And so we went to see them open the show on Christmas break in Florida. And I was like, ooh, on the drive home back to Maryland, I told my parents, I'm going to quit school and join the circus. They're like, what? So they were half and half. They're like, oh my God, no, but oh my God, yes, because they thought it would be good for my sister to have me.
Right.
So I went and interviewed in DC, which was where the Office for Concessions was. That's the people that walk up and down and hawk their wares in the circus. So I went in my business. Now, a lot of these people that were doing concessions back then, they're just like people that don't really have aspirations in life. Some of them are running from the law. I mean, illegal, immigrants. Yeah. And here I am. Yeah. Here I am in my business suit, all, dolled up. And the guy's going, for a half an hour, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. And finally I said, yes, I really do. So he said, okay, bless you.
Thank you. My allergies.
Yeah, I know. So he said, fly to Florida in 3 days. So I had to go to school and check out of school. All my teachers were in shock. Everybody. I flew. So I did concessions for 3 months. I had my own stand sold. I had a partner we were concession stand mates. And then when we got to Madison Square Garden in New York for 2 months, they had their own union and they weren't allowed to use the circus concession people. So they had off for 2 months, but I was the only girl they'd ever hired. Wow. And I worked on the weekends in the seats during the circus. And during the week I taught school. I started teaching school to one of the trapeze flyers. And I did that for the next year and a half.
Wow.
And one of the showgirls would teach me all the dance routines backstage Monday or Tuesday to Friday. Now, you got to understand, I was never a dancer. I was the singer in the family and
Yes.
the actor, but my sis and I played the piano for the ballet school, and I wanted to dance, but I was in her shadow, right? I'm a year younger than her, so I would always imitate her and run around the basement doing pretend ballet, learning how to be graceful, like growing up my whole life. And
Yes.
then in college, I had 3 semesters of like modern dance, tap, jazz, right? Nothing really.
Wow.
And I learned how to fake really, really well. So they had a big audition at Madison Square Garden, and I auditioned for Showgirl. And would you believe 3 girls quit and they hired me and 2 other girls?
Oh my God.
So I became a showgirl, and I had 2 weeks to learn like 5 dance numbers and an aerial number. I had to climb a rope 25 feet up, had a loop in it. The guy holds the bottom, and you're hanging upside down by your knee, by your ankle, by your wrist, in all these contorted positions. And they spin you around. And in 2 weeks, I performed. My very first show was in Philly.
Oh my God, my hometown.
And now the stadium's not even there. It was the old, I don't know what it was, the old Spectrum, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
the old
Spectrum.
Spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I
So
was
that
younger,
was
I saw
in
the circus there.
1979.
Wow.
I'm telling you my age now. Yeah. So there you go. So I was in the circus.
But look at how you were like, I'm gonna do this. And you
I just like I said, like I didn't have time to think about it. I didn't have time to be scared. I didn't have no time to be scared. And then years later, I wrote a screenplay about a girl that runs off the circus. It's pretty good if anybody
yeah.
wants to produce
Yeah.
it. So anyway, so you were saying you didn't want to be in the circus.
Right. And what I mean is you taught me this. I came to class one day with you and I was having throes of all of that stuff. I'll call it the angst.
Mm-hmm.
And you said to me, you're like, Bjorn, you're up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. And at any moment, you can step out of the circus. You can come back to solid ground. You don't have to perform up and down all the time, emotion after emotion after emotion after emotion. And I realized that, and I never forgot that. And now where I sit, so many people are like, what is she going to do? What is she going to do? Because the Queen of Shade is feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I tell them, this is my career. And I'm happy what I do. I always wanted to be on the internet. I did. For me, it's a safe space. I don't have to worry about somebody disrespecting this. And I get to speak to so many people.
Yeah.
And what I love most about it is while I'm sleeping, they're watching. So it's not like I have to be there and hit the switch every time they want to hear something from me. And people don't understand. For a person with bipolar type 1, PTSD because of my childhood, and acute anxiety disorder, this job is the best thing that could have ever happened to me because of what I have to deal with on a daily basis. And, I've had therapy for 15 years, treatment, 15 years, medicine, 15 years. But I recognized that the way of the world was not the way that I wanted to go. And it took people like you because you would say to me, Bjorn, your why, it's not strong enough. It's not strong enough. Why do you want to be famous? Oh, because I can do good. No, you don't want to do good. You want to rub it in the faces of people that did you wrong.
Oops, I said that. Oops.
Well, in no uncertain terms. In no uncertain terms. But it was the truth, is what I'm trying to say. It was the truth. I don't feel that way anymore.
Yeah, of course.
I could care less. I don't know, something happened. I'm 30, something happened. I'll be 40 in September. I'm like, and it's been a number of years now. But those things don't interest me anymore. I am looking at Europe. I'm looking at going other places and working. And I don't want the circus. I don't
Mhm.
want, for a long time, and I'll just say this because I can, as a gay man, they only have certain jobs that we can do, especially in showbiz. We are the gay best friend, we're the makeup artist, we're the hairstylist, we're the reporter, we're those things. Never leading A-list actor and or musician, or we're background singers, we're all of those things. And I woke up and realized that my talent didn't need anyone's validation.
Mhm.
It didn't need any, I didn't have to ask anyone permission.
Right.
Start recording music with your husband.
Right. Exactly.
That
You
was
know,
empowering.
it's very empowering. And I don't see people as broken.
Right.
I see people as whole,
Yeah.
WHOLE,
Yeah.
and they're either asleep to it
Yeah.
or awakening to it more and more and
Yeah.
more and more, which is why I call my work now the awakened artist.
Yes.
And the artist, it doesn't even have to be an artist. It could be someone who's creating their life, the masterpiece of their life.
Yes.
It's being a conscious creator of the things you care about, the things you claim you care about.
Yeah.
So are you going to do it, or are you just going to sit there and feel bad about yourself that you're not doing it? I mean, being it, living it. And you know, are you still singing? I sure hope so. Yes, good.
What happened was 2018 was the last time I did a formal album. And then I started to have money troubles. Corona and all of these things. I started to have money troubles.
Right.
And I did what I did before because I had been there. You know how you said it, the confidence comes because you said, oh, I did that before. Well, I put
Right.
an album out. So I said to myself, all right, you're not putting an album out right this second. I'm going to still write.
Good.
I'm going to still write all these songs, and I'm going to still get all these beats and create these sounds. And when I have it, I'll give another album.
Good. Awesome.
And the crazy thing was, get this, smart, talk about smart. A lot of my beats, you've heard them, a lot of my song is up tempo, up tempo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I did was from 2018 till now, no album. And I was like, okay, there's no album. But look at what I did. 2021, I released an instrumental album and called it a runway instrumental album. It sounded like you're walking on the runway.
Wow.
So in 2021, I took 14 of my favorite songs and fixed up, had them mastered, just the instrumental, and gave the instrumental album to the world.
Wow. I didn't know this.
Yeah. You're busy, Mama.
I know. I don't scroll
you don't
much.
have time to.
I haven't been scrolling much lately. I have to be honest.
you don't have that kind of time. My allergies, Lord have
mercy.
And I'm like, and I look so good. I don't want my
You look hot.
I don't want it to run on camera, but if it runs, it runs. But I just realized what was important to me as an almost 40-year-old creative. I realized that $1 million is not so much. What's that?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I've got friends who have really bad health issues, and I just saw somebody who's kind of well known. He does a little comedy thing with his family, and he's really well known on social media, and he just announced that he has colon cancer at 34 years old, stage 4.
Oh no.
I don't care how much money you have. Doesn't guarantee anything. You have to live for the now. And that's the whole thing about being a performer or an artist. It happens now. You create now in the present moment. So you've got to be present. When people go on stage and people love them on stage, it's because they have power and charisma. Well, what is that? It's just about being present.
Yeah.
And being yourself authentically on stage.
Yeah.
Whole, WHOLE, whole.
Yeah. And what I love is that I found that. There goes that nose. I found that. I became whole. And in so doing, my therapy changed.
Yeah.
Outlooks changed. Everything changed. Listen to this. I had a very serious conversation with my nephews today. This morning, I woke up to it. There was a hurrah.
Right.
But my grandmother told me about it. my one nephew, Jeremiah, he's in California. He had a manic episode and he had to get help. He's out there getting help. He went out there to be with his father, but he's out there getting help now. Then my other one, he's here, but he has, and again, you know, mental illness is hereditary. So they're my sister's children. My sister has mental illness really badly. It's just really, yeah. So the other one has ADHD. And what was being said was, you know, Uncle BJ, you made a lot of mistakes with us being here. You yelled at us because you didn't understand us, or you weren't the nicest person to us, or all you cared about was working online. And we didn't need money. We needed love. We needed presence.
That was this morning, this conversation?
Yup.
Wow.
Yup. It was this, I woke up to it. And he was saying these things over the phone. And I asked him, I said, because he had his brother on the speaker. I said, please come to the house. He said, and he had his girlfriend too. I said, bring your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Because what I realize is we can fix things.
Yep.
We can fix
things. We can clean up our messes.
Yes. So he sat down and I went down memory lane with both of the boys and talked about, you know, I apologize if I wasn't there. And my attitude, because look at this. I told them, I said, my attitude was, you don't need me there. You need me to make a lot of money because we're in a situation where we're surviving. We don't have everything we need. So if I make this money, then all of our problems will go away. No, because I need you there. I need you to, and so my nephew Jeremiah was on the phone and he said, when I was younger, he said, you never like physically abused me. He said, but I felt a type of way about the things that you would say. He said, they would hurt me because you would say I didn't listen or that I wasn't, because I always got involved with my nephews when I would hear my grandmother start yelling. And then when she would start yelling, I didn't ask any questions. I jumped to her defense. I didn't ask the kids what happened.
Right.
And today I was able to tell them both, I love you. I want to fix it. I want to make amends. Let's talk about it. Let's all heal together. And we decided that this coming Saturday, we're going to all talk online and coordinate sometime next week. And we're going to talk, the four of us, on Zoom and record it.
So you can, let it sink in again.
So that it can sink in. We can all have a copy of it. And we are going to talk about these issues.
That's amazing.
And yes. And I just am so thankful that I am not who I used to be.
Yeah. You've really.
My grandmother actually was hurt. She was like, they're saying all of these things. And I said to her, I stopped her from my sleep. I came downstairs. I said, no, don't do that. We have to hear them. We have to acknowledge and we have to apologize.
And the thing that's sad right now, it's funny because every now and then when something is truth coming through, I start twitching right here, and I was just twitching while you were telling me that. Yeah. So the world is fighting truth because the divine feminine is waking up inside of everyone in the world in general. And so that old patriarchal mindset is, it's everywhere. It's I got my Ukrainian colors over here, right? So, but it's just everywhere. And this healing that you're doing, and that each one of us is doing as we just wake up, like when the alarm clock goes off in the morning and it's time to wake up. Some of us like hit the snooze button over there, and some people just aren't ready to wake up, and some people don't wake up quickly, but they wake up gradually. Some people just wake up. We're all like that, and in life we wake up at different paces. But we have to wake up because we have no choice. And pretty soon the climate change, we're going to have climate refugees in the next 20 years. So
because it's so bad.
It's going to be hard. But my point is, as we each wake up and really take ownership of our entire lifespan, past, present, future, now we create the ripple effect And now it ripples out through the other people we know and love, through your audiences, through your family, through your friends, communities. And now we can start to reach a tipping point. And what Gandhi said is the only way. Be the love you wish to see in the world. Be the truth. Be the forgiveness. Be the acceptance. Be the wholeness. And be it. And look how the pandemic went viral
Yeah.
in seconds around the world. Well,
Yeah.
this could go viral too.
Yeah.
Being whole, being healed. This could go viral. We could reach the tipping point. Now I want to tell you a statistic I heard.
Okay.
When something is in the process of changing and evolving, and it reaches the 25% when it amasses 25% of the new thing,
Yeah.
now it's starting to build. Now it's reached a tipping point where it can start to build more momentum.
Yeah.
Toward the 51% where now it's the majority. And so Congress is like 21% female.
Wow.
Get what I'm saying?
Right. Right. But get this, I told my grandmother, because when I hung up and they said they would come, he would come and he would have his brother on speaker and bring his girlfriend. I looked at her and I said, I'm not losing my boys.
Right.
It is non-negotiable. And I told them, I said, we will talk about everything you felt was wrong and I will make amends.
Awesome.
And I told them, and they said, and what I loved, and look at this, he said, they both said, Uncle BJ, we don't want any money from you. We just want you there. We just want you present. We just want, because he said, they said to us, because we can't leave you. We don't want to leave you. We don't want to have to go out into the world and forge another family.
They want to feel safe.
Yes.
And connected.
And connected.
That's what we all want.
Yup. And I have an opportunity. And I was so thankful to the divine. I said, thank you for the opportunity, because this could have went another way. I said, but I was ready. I was like, listen here now. I'm not losing my boys. That's just something I won't do.
Yeah.
And I was willing. And I told my grandmother, I said, I will apologize 1,000,000 times. I will tell them what they need to hear sincerely from me.
Yeah.
Until I'm blue in the face. I will never stop saying it.
That's right.
Like, and that's the thing. People get, I said, I'm sorry. And then I move on.
Like, that's enough. Right.
No.
Yeah. It's not enough sometimes.
Not enough.
And what you call transformation, I also call it alchemy.
Yeah.
Turning lead into gold. You're turning wounds into blessings.
Yeah.
I have a song called Blessings, where the lessons become blessings. And that's an amazing thing, to be like an alchemist, where you can embrace it all. And now the toxic masculinity and the toxic femininity becomes sacred masculine and divine feminine. And now we can come together and be partnership in this world and be, fairly represented in the world, not having, somebody speak for us that doesn't really get us.
That doesn't really get us. And I'm so thankful for people like you, because you planted so many seeds in me. And now I do what you did for me. It's kind of like you learn a better behavior.
It's the ripple effect.
Yeah.
It's the ripple effect. I don't even remember saying any of those things to you.
Yeah, but you did. And it was so great.
Okay.
It never was bad. It was light bulbs. I was having like lightning, like, oh my God, like it was something I had never heard before.
Well, yeah, you didn't have that in your environment growing up, because people were fighting they were trying to just survive.
Yeah, and that's what it was. It was a whole life of survival. And I can proudly say today, I'm not surviving, I'm thriving.
You are.
Oh, that's why when I heard my boys say that to me, I was like, oh, nope, we got to stop right here. We got to do all that we have to do. And I told them, and I said to them both as the conversation closed, I said, this conversation it's not fixed. We're going to get even deeper, and we're going to go into it. And
this is the beginning.
This is the beginning of our family.
Can you imagine the ripple effect that's going to have on the people that now it's going to affect through them? Because they're so young, and this younger generation, oh my God, look, they all are on anxiety medication. My heart breaks for them. And part of me, like, I look at it and go, why? What happened? I have a little theory, like since like my daughter was in kindergarten, it was her first week of school when 9/11 happened.
Oh,
And I was actually in New York City on
yeah.
9/11.
Oh, wow. You were
Yeah.
there.
I was right. I was up there teaching.
Oh my God.
And so she was terrified. But think about how the world changed after 9/11.
Yeah.
And we're old enough to know
Yeah.
um life before
Yeah.
terrorism.
Yeah.
And now terrorism is like there's the sun in the sky, the moon comes
Yeah.
out at night, and there's terrorism.
Yeah.
And gee, I wonder why everybody suffers from anxiety, because
Yeah.
all we do is like try to defend ourselves against terrorism. We don't talk about the thing. We don't focus on the things that would create the world where terrorism wouldn't even need to
Yeah.
exist. What if
Exactly.
we create the world
Yeah.
where bullies don't get away with that kind of crap, you know?
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
And
Instead of putting all our money into armies and
exactly.
yeah.
It's so funny because a lot of those children today are content creators. It's
Yes.
a whole new
Influencers.
yeah,
Yeah.
influencers. And what I love is I watch them, they're putting their
Yes.
own narrative out into the world. And
Yes.
it's beautiful.
It's
It's absolutely
yeah.
beautiful. So I know I gotta let you go because you got things to do. So
Well,
give me 3 words that inspire you.
oh my gosh, that inspire me?
Yes, you.
Gosh, that's really hard.
I stump everyone with this question. Everybody.
Wow. Well, there's nothing that melts me more
Okay.
than when my 26-year-old daughter
Yeah.
softens
Yeah.
and comes to me with her arms open and hugs me with the biggest hug and says, I love you.
Love. Mm-hmm.
So love,
Mm-hmm.
connection,
Yeah.
like authentic connection inspires me, and faith.
Yeah.
Faith in ourselves, faith, because I didn't have faith in myself for most of my life.
Yeah.
Faith in the vision that you have for yourself, faith in the goodness of life, faith in the goodness in ourselves,
Yeah.
and faith in the goodness of humanity.
Yeah.
Like some people think left to our own devices, we're going to be bad. It's really not the truth. Left to our own devices,
We figure it out.
we figure it out that, like you, oh, I don't want to get even. I want to.
Yeah. I want to live. I want to actually
live.
help. I want to help. I want to hope. I want to love,
Right.
and I want to give love. I want to show love. So we didn't talk about the awakened artist.
I have time. I have a few more
good.
minutes.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. Please tell us about the awakened artist. Because get this.
Okay.
I made a mental note in my head to take this course. I just have to get some things in order. And
yeah, well, we'll be in touch then. I didn't know that. Okay. Oh my God, you're gonna love it. Oh
yes,
gosh.
Yes.
Okay,
I think every artist should.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
So, and I'll help you make it possible. Okay, so the awakened artist is something that started to form in me back in like I'm gonna say 2014.
Okay.
2015. And I just started again, like after Israel, obsessively reading stuff on the internet, studying stuff. I started studying trauma and trauma healing and addiction and just so many things. And I'd had this amazing teacher, Robert Fritz, from the 1980s.
Yeah.
He's a master creator, and I was certified to teach his courses in how to create, right? His basic and advanced courses. So I had some creating skills and had to consult with people, but all this was now starting to come together. My whole world was starting to come together and congeal. And so finally in the fall of 2016, I sat down and just kind of channeled this course.
Yeah.
And it's called The Awakened Art. So The Awakened Artist is what I call my body of work, but the course is called the Soul Tuning Course. It's a 6-week course where I took 35 years of my life and put it into 6 sessions to help people find a shortcut.
Yes.
And they do. When I tell you the stuff that people tell me after they take this course, I'm like, you got that out of my course? I'm like, oh my God. It's huge stuff, huge life-changing stuff. Like within months or a year of like finishing the course, they're like, oh my God. And the soul tuning is like how I talked about before, like really getting in touch with who am I as a soul? As
Yes.
this unique vibrational frequency, like we each have our unique thumbprint, right?
Yes.
Now, how to express that. And so it's like the tuning fork. It's
Yes.
tuning your life, your self-expression, your creativity, your dreams to your soul essence. That's what the whole thing is about, and helping you really live that.
Yes.
So that's what it is. And the private coaching, I'm working with some really awesome clients right now in private coaching, and I just keep getting blown away by how, because this work that I do is structural. It's not like therapy.
Right.
Therapy is like processing your feelings. This is about your feelings are more like the voice on the GPS.
Yeah.
When you're driving from New York to LA, you set your address in LA, you're in New York, and each turn it tells you where to turn, right? That's the guidance, right? If you get distracted or you get upset because there's a traffic jam and you stop listening to the GPS, you get lost.
Yeah.
It tells you how to turn, right? And where to go. And so the emotions tell us when we're on track, when we're off track.
Yeah.
Like the voice of the GPS. When you're really feeling funky or out of alignment, yeah, it's because you're not doing what your soul is calling you to do, or being how you're like, I want peace in our house. Why are you yelling then, right? It's like, so why are you hitting? Why are you yelling? Why are you cursing like that?
Right.
So it's about being in alignment. And
Yeah.
it's not about making yourself wrong in the process. It's about knowing your values and then just going, yeah, I care about that enough. So that's the work. And I do it coaching. And then I have a community anyone can be in and to connect. And I want to start doing collaborative projects like I did with my cow project.
Yeah.
We're still growing to that point. And it's really hard to get like adult artists who are used to doing it their way, their time, their way, in their thing, right? To like want to collaborate. But it's coming. Because I just started working with teens again. I taught one of my classes. I have another class called The Conscious Creator, which is a 4-week class, and it's the how to create. So it's really it's and I love teaching this class. I teach it over Zoom.
Yeah.
And so people anywhere in the world can do it. And I'm in one now, and we have 2 classes left. And I don't know. I love helping people wake up.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know, I as I was sitting here, that is the role of the divine feminine,
Mm-hmm.
to give life.
Yeah.
And life doesn't always mean labor.
Oh yeah.
It means awakening.
Yep.
And it's so funny because one of my interviewees said the other day, he said, God is a woman. And I was like, well, why do you say that? He said, because look at this. Giving life is not something that men per se can do. And I was like, well, we can in other ways. He said, yeah, but let's look at the science of it. He was like, women birth the universe. They keep it going. They bring it here.
Every single human being came through a woman.
Yes. So like, I find that to be so refreshing, because I too have always felt most comfortable around women. I listen more to women. Men, I'm starting to now. Like, my doctor's a man, my psychiatrist is a man, which is a change. It wasn't that way before.
Wow.
So in the last, I want to say 3 years, I went with a male doctor, and he's the most amazing doctor I've ever had.
Great. I'm happy to hear that, because I will only go to women doctors.
Yeah, well, get this. He saved my voice.
Wow.
I was having issues and I did not know what it was. I would go to sing.
And you didn't call me?
Right. But get this. I didn't want to bug you. You were doing
shut up.
work.
No. That's what I'm here for.
But get this. Hoarse for over 1.5 years.
Oh no, that's
couldn't sing. And I'm like, and that's when you asked me, are you still singing? I nodded, because even the singing, I can't sing if it's not being done for me.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
If it's being done for me, then I can record it and then share it.
Yeah.
But it has to be for me.
Yeah.
And I understand that now. I overstand that. So what happened was I'm going to him and I'm like, I need to see an ear, nose, and throat doctor. Something's wrong. This is a part of my career. And he's like, well, describe all your other symptoms. I'm like, my chest burns and I'm always.
I know what was wrong with you.
Tell me.
Reflux. Duh.
That's what he said. And he put me on this pill
Yeah.
that helps with acid reflux.
Yeah.
My voice
Yeah.
back to the fullest.
Right.
And
Because
I was like,
the acid flows back over your vocal cords and
yes.
swells them, and then they can't vibrate the way you need them to vibrate. You can't hit your high notes; they don't thin out. Yeah, so.
But look, you just proved you're good at what you do. You just proved you're good at what you do, because that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. That's
Well,
exactly
I've had the same situation. I've had tons of. It's very common. It's a very common.
He said that. He
very
said
common.
that. But I want to say thank you because, Michael Taylor, the A&R that connected us, his wife became a big thing in Australia, and he moved to Australia. Yeah, he moved to Australia to kind of, be there for her career and things like that. And he was teaching, I think, at the University of Sydney or Melbourne. One of those, he went and taught. And while and they're still there. And it's been since, I want to say 07, 08, they've been there. And I looked at it as kind of like, oh, I lost my opportunity to get with a major label, this, that, and the other. But but look at this, when I took the Landmark Forum, that was the first time I had a glimpse of waking up.
Yes.
And I called Michael Taylor and I said, I don't want to be with a major label.
Yeah.
And he was like, I said to him, I think I just want to start with coffee shops. That's what I told him. I just want to start with coffee shops.
Cool.
And kind of be in an intimate setting. He said, are you crazy? I'm trying to make sure your voice is heard by millions of people around the world. It wasn't what I wanted. Fast forward.
Yeah.
Now I'm an international recording artist.
Right.
My music is heard everywhere on my terms. They come looking for me and I own it.
Yeah.
The masters.
I know.
But
and you can't
the way I felt to do it. I own my masters. And a lot of artists today can't say that. Taylor Swift.
Right.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm using you as an example, girl. You ever see this? But they took all her music. Scooter Braun. He took all the music that made her Taylor Swift. She can make new music, yes, but it's the stuff that she did when she was hungry that brought her to the stage.
But we're in a transition from the patriarchal to this new era of balance.
Balance.
And it's not, while it's wonderful to say God is a woman, it's both.
It's both. I was going to say that, yeah.
And it has to be both. It has to be both.
One without the other.
Because you need the container and the flow.
Yeah.
What's the flow without the container, and what's the container without the flow? You need both.
You're describing me. People are like, are you a man or a woman? And I'm like, I'm both.
Right. Well, we all are.
Yes.
And you're just the extreme version of that.
Yes. I am the aggrandized version.
Right. So I forget where I was going with that, but it's, the world is in this bridge. We're in this bridge. We're at the beginning of the Aquarian era, the beginning of another 2,000-year phase. We don't have the role models out there. We don't have the history to prove. Just keep going. We don't even. It's the realm of the unknown, and we have to embed our visions for the highest good of all, meaning myself, everyone, and the world. The highest good of the world. We have to embed them. Like I like to picture the unknown as wet cement.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put my handprint in that cement, my vision, and embed it. And now that's what's going to happen next. And that's the only way to create by creating the future, not based on the past. Like making America whatever again is a fantasy of whatever.
Yeah.
And we have to make America beautiful by creating it.
That is what I realized. And it's so funny because even my music, it's an extension of the soul that I am.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Everything that I do is like I'm this being, and then all of these things just kind of enhance and help me be me on a daily basis,
Mm-hmm.
every day. And I love that. And it's kind of funny because we're talking about, this age of Aquarian, arrival and awakening, and the climate has changed. And for people that have mental illness, seasonal change is very hard for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, and I can say this, yesterday I went to Walmart during rush hour. I usually don't go out during rush hour because I don't like a lot of people around me.
Right.
It just makes me uneasy. But we went because my grandmother needed things. Well, we get into the Walmart and there's so many people, I'm already annoyed. And I'm bending down because I had to get something. My grandmother's on the phone and I'm asking her what she wants and I'm looking for it. There's a woman behind me who doesn't say excuse me, though she has a cart. And then a man kind of is pushing his cart up towards me.
Uh-oh.
2 children. He didn't acknowledge me. He didn't say anything.
Ugh.
Now I'm going to tell you, he was this, he wasn't this. So
Mm.
I'm like, so as he walks by,
Mm.
I said, "You're welcome." I was that upset, but it didn't stop there. I walked away from that situation and was absolutely furious. I have never felt that anger in me like that before. And what I was so crazy because I got back in the car. My grandmother stayed on the phone because I was like, Nana, if you don't stay on this phone, there's going to be an incident in Walmart.
Mhm.
And she stayed on the phone with me. And I walked out of the store and get this, we even park all the way in the back. And I will walk just so that I'm not in
Yeah.
the hustle and bustle. So as I got in the car, I forgot that she was there.
Oh.
I started talking to myself and playing the scenario from different sides. Here I was thinking he was racist. And then all of a sudden I said to myself, well, he has 2 small children with him. He probably thought I was going to be aggressive and didn't want to say anything because he had his 2 small children with him and didn't want to on set, an aggressive response. I started to out loud. I started to replay all of these things and say, maybe it was me. Maybe he was just trying to shop,
Maybe.
But okay, I need people to understand. We'll never know.
You'll
That's
never
fine.
know.
We'll
But
never know.
what you activated was empathy instead of judgment.
Yes. Yeah, that's the point. And I talked my temper
Down. Yeah.
And my grandmother, when I was done, she looked at me and she said, I'm so proud of you.
Aw.
I've never seen anybody do that. I now know that you have the ability to talk
Yeah.
yourself off the ledge.
That's great.
And I looked at her and I said, well, I have to be the one to do it.
We have to. We have to. Look, women, men, straight men are so privileged.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say it, but yeah.
Oh, I'm not even going to say
walls around them.
I'm not even going to say what kind of straight men, right?
Right.
And I just, I follow some people on the ground in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Because I want to know what's actually happening.
Yeah.
And the atrocities against women and children and babies and girls, I am furious. It was all I could do yesterday to not cry all day long. I'm furious. I understand what you're saying. I am livid, and I don't understand how people can deny what's going on in the world. I can't. I'm not going to go there now. But so we're at the beginning of healing this gaping wound of humanity, where women are just, and the feminine aspect of men is just looked down upon. It's so sad because it's so beautiful.
You know what it is, Mama Deb? People don't want to do the healing process because the healing process sometimes hurts more than the wound.
Right.
But you need it.
One of my now voice students who just took my last soul tuning course in November, she said to me, her, and I didn't know her from Adam until she took my course.
Yeah.
Which finished in December, and shortly after her father died.
Yeah.
And then she went through some ugly family situations after her father passed.
Yeah.
And she took the high road, and it was hard.
Yeah.
But she said to me, not taking the high road and reacting back the way people were reacting in
Yeah.
this situation would have been worse.
Would have been
And
worse.
her own children and partner were like blown away how she handled it.
Yeah.
And she got that from doing my course, and she was like, it was harder to take the low road than to take the high road. And that's really, look, nothing in life is easy right now. Very little is easy, but it's harder. Here's my last word, right?
Yeah.
It's harder to not honor your soul
Yeah.
and to do what it will take to honor your soul.
Yeah. Yeah, because like you said, universe is crying out for it. The universe is spilling it out. Honor your soul. Honor your look at every creator that is anybody. You, me. What are we spouting? Be yourself, love yourself, heal the world, love, joy, peace,
Yeah.
happiness. Find your authentic self.
Right.
Be fully self-actualized. Love yourself as you love your neighbors and all of the people around you. Heal the wound. Let me tell you something. The powers that be that are trying to get back in office, they are completely against it.
Oh,
And honestly, I believe that the divine feminine is not as feeble
oh.
people would try to make her.
Well, do you know about Kali, the goddess Kali?
I was named Kali. That was my name.
Right. That's right. That's right.
That was my name.
Well, the Kali is waking up in me and everybody. Kali.
That is Kali. She's that warrior. She's that one. She has different forms of herself. She's an eternal mother, but then she gets in that warrior mode, and it's like she's drunk with bloodlust because
she wears the skulls around her neck
because she's cleansing the world of enemies. She just
right.
Off with their heads.
In the name of love. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just want to show you, this is a necklace that a friend of mine from the circus, my best friend from the circus, gave me. You know what that is?
What?
It's a mustard seed.
Oh, is it really? Because the good book talks about having the faith of a mustard seed. And even such a large plant grows from that tiny seed too. That tiny seed grows into this huge,
Yep. All you got to do, people are like, I want to do what my soul is telling me to do, but I don't know how. You're not supposed to know how. That's not your job. You just have to know what you want and where you are now and keep driving there and have the faith of a mustard seed.
That's how I got here.
I know.
I didn't know.
I know.
I just kept driving.
I don't know how I got here. I know.
Kept driving. I was like, listen, because my soul said this, and then I'll wrap up. But my soul said this. You're on a highway. You're in transition.
Yeah.
You pull over to the side of the highway. You get out of the car. Look around. There's nothing but highway. What don't you see? And I got it immediately. I said to the divine, provision. He said, because you're in transit, there's no provision here for you.
Yeah,
it's at your destination. So you have to stay in the car, because even when you want to give up, there's no safety here. There's no food here. There's no shelter.
Right.
No. You got to keep driving.
That's right.
Driving. You got to keep driving.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when pilots take the plane up in the air, we go through a couple moments of turbulence.
Yeah.
Every time that happens, should we all get scared and go back down?
No.
I mean, it's like life is turbulent sometimes, but you keep your eyes on the direction you're headed. You get support where you need it. You get teachers when you need teachers.
Yes.
And you keep going.
Yes.
You keep going.
This was so amazing. Reminding me why I love you so much. And I'm going to get to have this. I'm going to send you a copy too. I'll get to have this and look back at it.
Yes.
Guess who suggested this? I was making my rounds. I'm determined to talk to everybody that I can. Everybody.
Awesome.
My grandmother, the night
I love her.
I looked you up and said, my grandmother said, you've got to get Deb and you've got to get Robert. They were there at the end.
I love her. She comments all the time on my posts. I love her.
She was like, those people were there. That seed, they watered it. They turned over the soil. She was like, you need them. And then I came upstairs and you were like, oh, fine, no problem. Yeah, we're still working on Robert, so you're gonna see this. We're hoping that you'll come on and talk about the music we created. But I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
please tell
Thank you.
everyone where they can find you online, social
Okay.
media, website.
Okay. So you can see how my name is spelled.
Yes.
Make sure that the Berlin is like Berlin, Germany. There's no A in Chamberlin.
Yeah.
So you can find me on Instagram under that name, on Facebook. I do have a TikTok, but it's under the I can't remember what it's under. Something about the Awakened Artist.
I'm going to put all the links in the
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
yeah.
And then you can find me on theawakenedartist.net, my website, Deb Chamberlin, and then I have the Awakened Artist community.
Yeah, on Facebook.
On Facebook.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So there are many ways to get in touch.
Lots of ways.
Yeah. And I just want to cap it right here and say, if you want a vocal teacher that is going to help you, get this. And what I love about you, and I have to give you your flowers before I go, you can't go to this woman and say, I want to sound like Whitney Houston. She's not going to do that.
No, you're going to sound like you.
Yup, I was getting ready to say it because that's what you taught me. You're going to sound like you and the best version of you.
And I have to give props to my teacher. So when I moved to New York,
right,
and I needed a teacher, I found Katie Agresta.
Right.
And we became best friends. We became Reiki masters together. We did a lot of things together. And then Cyndi Lauper got famous, her student.
Yeah, her student.
And she was like, I can't handle all these people. I said, teach me to teach, and then I'll help you open a studio. So I did. I helped her open the studio, and I taught with her for several years, many years, and then I went off on my own. And she taught Bon Jovi, you name it, she's taught him. She's an amazing teacher and singer, opera singer. And so it's a fantastic technique, and it's about becoming a real natural, consistent singer of your own sound.
Of your own sound. I just want to say thank you, because it was in your home, in your studio, that I found my voice.
Yeah.
How
awesome
I sounded. How I sounded.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's so funny because people will ask me now, sing something. I don't do that.
Good. I know.
I don't do that.
You don't ask the dentist at the party to check your tooth either, right?
Right. I don't do that. All right. Ladies and gentlemen.
Woo! Bless you.
It was bound to come out. Hold on, I think there's another.
Oh, bless you.
All right, I'm sucking up here. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the vocal stylings, I say that to everyone, of Mrs. Deb Chamberlin, vocal coach, songwriter, singer, creator, community helper, course giver. Like, I'm looking at everything here. The list just goes on and on and on.
Mother and wife.
Yes, mother and wife and friend.
And friend.
So don't go anywhere. Say goodbye to the people, but don't go anywhere.
Mwah. Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching.
So did you enjoy? I hope you did. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and don't forget to cash at me at the Queen of Shade. I am your favorite content creator, right? Right. You want to see more of this content, right? Right. Cash at me. I love you. Mwah.
I've got my black stilettos on. Don't you make me take them off. I'm assuming first position. Gonna show you I'm a boss. I've been given 60 seconds just to put my thing